Welcome back, Jeff Heggie Daily Success Strategies. Thanks for being with me today. Hope your week's been great. Today what I want to do is I'm going to talk about a few things. I'm going to talk about some successes that you have right now, and I want you to recognize them, but I'm also going to talk about some of the ways that you're going to need to look at things so you can move forward and achieve your goals. But it's Friday, so the first thing we always do, let's look at our week. On Monday we said, what are the things that you need to do so that on Friday we can look back and say that it's been a successful week. So some of you emailed me, sent me DMs, tell me, how have you done? Did you achieve those things? Did you take the things that you thought you should do but realize you need to make them into a must? And did you do that so that you were able to have a successful week? So tell me about it. Leave me a comment, send me a DM, email me, whatever you want, jeff@jeffheggie.com, and tell me how your week's been. Are you closer to your bigger goals because of the things that you accomplished this week? Take a look at that and then be accountable to it, and let's talk about it. All right, what I want to talk about to begin with, in this Daily Success Strategies podcast, we talk a lot about how to be successful, how to set goals, and how to go about achieving them. And one of the things I talk about a lot is the programs I have, my free momentum series. If you go to jeffheggie.com, get my momentum series for free. It'll help you to set your goals, to get clarity, understand your why, and help you get direction on how to go about achieving those goals. So we're going to talk more about those things in a moment, but what I want you to do is I want you to take a look right now. Things might be going great for you. Things might be a struggle. I don't know. But look at yourself right now and recognize the successes you have. Recognize the good things that you have in your life right now, because things can change in a snap. You know, there's so many fragile things that we take for granted. Accidents can happen so quick. You know, I've just been reflecting on this tonight. Just recently, we've had some things happen that didn't turn out so bad, but they could have been. Even last week, my wife was getting things ready for my daughter's bridal shower, and she had a big staple gun, and she put a staple right through her finger, went through her bone, out the other side, 2 holes. And we were at my buddy's house, and he grabbed some pliers and yanked it out for her. She was incredibly tough with it, tougher than I would have been. My son, he shares my street bike with me. He was in an accident today. It wasn't bad. He was okay, better than the bike, but it could have been a lot worse. I just thought, you know what, I know my mom listens to this, so I'm sorry, Grandma. He's okay. He's not hurt at all. Everything's fine. You know, that's another example. My mother just recently broke her arm really bad. Things can happen so quick, and often they're things that we're not really paying a lot of attention to, that we take for granted. So do that one thing today. Just look around yourself and be grateful for what you have. And, you know, spend some time in your journal writing about the things that you're grateful for. I've talked about that a lot in the past on having a gratitude journal. Spend some time today reflecting on those things. All right, what I do want to talk about, you know, as I mentioned before, we talk a lot about setting goals and having success habits and all those different things, having the proper mindset to be successful. But what I want you to really do today, and I want you to think about it throughout this weekend as you're thinking about your goals and how you're going to achieve things. You know, if you've listened to this in the past, I've talked a lot about my momentum series. If you don't have clearly defined, written out goals, pause right now, go to jeffheggie.com and get my free momentum series. It's a 3-video series. It's not long, but it will help you to get clarity on your goals, understand your why behind each goal, and how you're going to move forward and achieve those. But as we do that, I want you to think about some of the things, because if we really want to be successful and be successful at achieving the goals that we have, there's a few things that we really need to go through. And oftentimes in these episodes, I'll talk about the steps individually, but I want to talk more about how they relate to each other. When we're looking at goals, as we set goals in my momentum series, I talk about how to set those, and I'm not going to talk about that now. If you don't have your goals, get that and you'll understand how to set those goals. But I want you to look at it. The setting the goals part is the outcome. That's the desired outcome that we want to be at. The things that we want to achieve are those goals. And we need to do a few things to make sure that happens. The process we go through that's going to help us to be successful at those. Even looking at it on a weekly basis, every Monday I say, what are you going to do this week that's going to get you closer to your bigger goals? And that's what we've got to do. We've got to look at that goal once it's set and start working backwards. What are the things I need to do to get there? What's the process I need to do? And then start working towards that. But as we do that, there's a number of things that we need to do. One, the habits that we have, the success habits. I talk about that. Like, for example, the mindset questions. The mindset questions that I talk about, and if you haven't heard me talk about those before, jeffheggie.com/mindset. You'll be able to get a list of my mindset questions. What those are some of the small habits that you need to do to get yourself in the right mindset to be successful at achieving these goals. Will doing those mindset questions every morning make you achieve your goals? No. But it's those habits of doing those the success habits that are going to help you to get there. So we look at the habits that we have. I want you to look at your beliefs, because if you set some big goals, you have all the right success habits in place and you're taking the right actions, but you really don't ever believe that you can achieve that goal, you're not going to achieve it. So what are some of the success habits that are going to help you believe that you can achieve that? Well, I talk about reading and writing out your goals every morning. Why do we do that? One, I've talked about your reticular activating system, your RAS. That's the part in your brain that helps you to filter out what's important in life. There's so many things going on around us, we can't pay attention to all of it. I don't know if you're listening or watching this, but you can probably hear the birds in the background, cars in the background, different things. I always record this in my backyard and you can hear things around me. But what are you paying attention to? Because there's millions of things happening around us, and our RAS tells us what's important and what we pay attention to. That's why when you buy a new outfit, all of a sudden you see it all around other people wearing the same thing. When you buy a new car, all of a sudden you start seeing that car all around. That's your RAS. So as we put more focus and attention on what our goals are, our RAS is going to help us start to identify the things that can help us achieve it. So that's the importance of having your goals top of mind, and why writing them out every single morning and reading them and then reading them again before you go to bed is a powerful tool. But we need to look at those things, and how are we going to believe that we can achieve it? Well, let's take, for example, the news. If we hear something over and over and over again, pretty soon we start believing it, if we believe that it's coming from a credible source. There's oftentimes, I remember listening to something a while back that was on the news. I don't watch the news very often, but I do hear different things once in a while. And when I first heard it, it seemed really strange. Like, why would they say that? Like, no one's gonna even believe that. But then they continued with that same narrative over and over and over. And the longer they do it, the more and more people believe that. And that's part of faith. The more we're exposed to something, the more we get to know it, the more we hear it over and over, our faith in it and our belief in it will grow. And so, unfortunately, it can be used in a negative way as much as a positive way. When we're talking about your goals, though, as you continue to go over these things on a daily basis and talk about these things to yourself as if they've already happened, and have a real true belief that you can achieve these things, your belief in achieving them will grow. And so that's the important part there. Now, one of the things as we put our habits in place that are going to help us to achieve these goals, as we determine what we need to do to achieve these bigger goals, what do you identify with? Do you identify with those habits? Because when you can have your habits become part of your identity, then your belief, then your outcomes, everything rise to another level. An example is someone that's quitting smoking. If you've got two people that have just recently quit smoking, and someone comes and offers them a cigarette, the first one says, no thanks, I don't want one. The second one says, no, I'm not a smoker. Who's going to be more successful in staying not being a smoker and being successful with that? The one who identifies himself as no longer being a smoker. So when you can start identifying yourself with your habits, if one of your habits is 10 minutes of reading every single day on the topic that's going to help you achieve your goals, and you start to identify yourself as someone that's into personal development, as someone that's into reading, as someone that's into studying the things that are going to help you achieve your goals, they're going to become a lot bigger part of what you do. And as we do that, our habits become a reflection of who we really are. So I really want you to think about that. We've got our goals, but what are the processes we need to implement to be successful in them? For one, I'm not talking here about, let's say your goal is to, well, just for easy sake, say it's to have $1,000 in your bank account, and your process is each week you need to be putting $100 in your bank account. Okay, those are the steps that you need to take. But I'm talking about the process of putting the habits that you need to be in place, making yourself believe you can achieve these things, and then also being able to identify as this is who you are. So these are things that, again, it's having the right mindset that will help you to not only set big goals, but also, one, believing that you can achieve them, and then putting things in place that are going to help you achieve them. Putting the things in place that are going to help you have the mindset that you know you can achieve them, and that even though you might not know the answer, you might not know how you're going to achieve it, it's going to come to you because you're doing the right things. I've talked about him before, but David Cooks, I interviewed him a while ago, and one of the things he talked about with goals is when you set your goals, if right now you look at a goal that you have and it's attainable, it's not a real goal. You got to be a lot bigger. It's got to be something that's stretching you so far that you have no idea how you're going to achieve that. And so that's what I'm hoping we can do, is help you to set really big goals, helping you to put the success habits in place that are going to help you to believe that you can achieve them and have that mindset that you can, and then doing the right things that's going to lead you down that path that you can do that. So again, to do that, first things first, go to jeffheggie.com, get my free momentum series. Go to jeffheggie.com/mindset, get a list of my mindset questions so that you can start those success habits for all of your successful needs. And then, so let's start this journey together. I've got a lot of programs that would be helpful. I'd love to jump on a strategy call with you and talk about how some of these things could be helpful for you and help you figure out some of the things that you need to do to start down this path of success. If that's something that you'd be interested in, send me a DM or an email at jeff@jeffheggie.com. jeff@jeffheggie.com, and just say, I'm interested, and we'll set something up, and I'd love to help you start on that path. Thank you. Please go and share this with someone. Appreciate when you do that. And if you're listening on Apple or any of those podcast platforms, please rate it, do anything you can. That always helps a lot. But thanks again, appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Be thinking about these goals. I'll see you again on Monday.